This is the portrait video test and audio test on all three sensors: S21 Fan Edition, S23 Fan Edition, and S24s. Looking at the colors and the subject separation, so S21 FE has triple camera setup with that 12 megapixel main sensor, 3.5-year-old phone, while S23 Fan Edition is the latest, last year's generation with that 50 megapixel sensor. And we have the latest S24 FE, also with 50 megapixel main sensor. Is there any difference in the audio performance and the portrait video? We have 4K on S24 Fan Edition, only Full HD on S21 and S23s. I think that's it for the quick audio and portrait video test. Let the battle begin. On the widest field of view, you will notice that S21 FE missed on the background blur, but you got good edge detection and bokeh on S23 FE and S24s. We got bigger and stronger bokeh balls on the latest model. There's also a difference on colors. You would notice that S23 FE is a little bit greenish, S24 FE is natural looking. It's a hit or miss on the older S21 FE, but you'll get good portrait shots. It's brighter on the older model. On 2x, Galaxy S21 FE loses on the portrait mode. We don't have 2x on S21s. You got brighter and better exposed photos on S23 Fan Edition and darker and natural looking on S24s. Also, on some shots, S23 FE is a little bit soft compared to the competition. S24 FE has good colors and tack sharp. On portrait zoom, all three phones can shoot 3x optical using the 10 megapixel sensor. Almost the same look on all three phones. I guess you will have more colors on S23 FE. S21 FE and S24 looks very similar in terms of skin tone and white balance. On the selfie, you got good details on S21 Fan Edition. S23 and S24 are applying a little bit of skin smoothening, but if you're looking on a smaller screen, you wouldn't notice the difference. This is the video quality test, starting with the selfie video recording, 4K 60 FPS on all three phones. This is the highest resolution for the selfie video recording. In terms of video quality, I would give this to the older S21 Fan Edition. This is a 50 megapixel 1/2.74 versus the smaller 1/3 on S23 Fan Edition and S24. In terms of skin tone, reddish on S21 Fan Edition, greenish on S23, and I think natural looking on S24 Fan Edition. Again, in terms of contrast, I would give this to S21 Fan Edition. Really good. If you're into selfie video recording or selfie portrait, I would probably stick to the older S21 Fan Edition. But let's check the rear cameras. Now we're testing the rear camera, starting with the ultra-wide lens in UHD 30 FPS. Again, I like the contrast on S21 Fan Edition, but naturalists will probably choose S24 Fan Edition, and S23 is somewhere in the middle. We got 12 megapixel sensor, 1/3, same sensor size on the selfie video recording. But the ultra-wide lens, you have a wider 0.5x on S21 Fan Edition and 0.6 on S23 and S24. Now let's check the main sensor. Now we're testing the main sensor. So we have 4K 30 FPS on all three phones. This is a 12 megapixel sensor on Samsung Galaxy S21 Fan Edition and 50 megapixel sensor on S23 and S24s. I think in terms of details, I like the latest generation. Again, there's nothing wrong with 12 megapixel, but I think there's more details on S23 and S24 FE. In terms of 8K video recording, there's 8K on S23 and S24. Later, we will test this outdoors. I think that's it for the main sensor. Now let's check the zoom. And lastly, we have 3x on all three phones. So this is a 10 megapixel sensor, f2.4. Let me check. Yes, it's actually f2.4 for all three phones. In terms of video quality, I think they will be the same because of the same sensor. But again, software manipulation, there might be difference. Let me know, because I can see the cameras right now, or I can see the screen. I can see the video output. So let me know, overall, which phone do you think is better in terms of video performance from the selfie, main sensor, ultra wide, and zoom? Now let's check the image quality. On the image quality test, I don't know. I like the colors on S21 and S23. The latest S24 FE is closer in real life, but also a little bit muted compared to the competition. The sky on the older model is bluer, but you got good dynamic range on S24 FE. It is brighter and better exposed. In terms of contrast, the older models are also punchy compared to the latest model. Again, if you want images closer in real life, then go with the latest S24 FE. This will be a personal choice. These teddy bears are actually the best comparison. You will see the colors are gradually getting muted. The main sensor of S21 FE is only 12 megapixel, so there's over sharpening on the image. We got ultra wide main sensor and 3 times optical zoom, and on the farthest zoom, we got 30 times digital crop. The biggest difference is a slow motion HD on S21 and S23, but we got 4K 120 FPS on S24 FE. We are testing the video stabilization outdoors in 4K 60 FPS. This is the selfie video recording, but let's check the camera performance first. From the colors and the sky. I think I like the video recording of Galaxy S21 Fan Edition. There's so much details on the face compared to S23 FE and S24 FE. Now let's check the video stabilization. Now let's check the rear cameras. Now this is the rear camera, starting with the ultra wide lens. Again, video stabilization and video quality outdoors. It's a cloudy day today, so we won't see much of the bluer sky. You got good contrast on Samsung Galaxy S24 Fan Edition, and on S21 Fan Edition, natural looking. Now let's check the video stabilization. Also, looking at the building, you would see that it's brighter on S23 Fan Edition. Now if we switch to the main sensor, you have natural looking tone on the latest model and stronger colors on S21 FE. All three phones looks really good. Look at the clouds here. Bluer sky on S21 and S23, while natural looking on S24 Fan Edition. Now let's check the video stabilization. Now we're switching to 3x. And looking at the quality of 3x, it's brighter on S24 Fan Edition, and you got stronger contrast on S23 and S21s. I guess a little bit colorful on S23 FE. Might just be the screen, so let me know on the comment section below. Now we're testing the video stabilization. Now if we go to the farthest zoom, we got 12x on S21 Fan Edition, 12x on S23 FE, and also 12x on S24 Fan Edition. Which do you think is better in terms of video quality? Now let's switch back to the ultra wide. Which phone do you think is better? Excellent night shot performance on all three phones. We got natural looking tone on S21 FE and warmer and a little bit greenish on S23 FE and S24. We got great contrast and details on the latest S24 FE, but somehow S23 FE is the best dynamic range. You can still see colors on the buildings, while it's both shadowy on S21 and S24 FE. On pitch black condition, all three phones are struggling a little bit with sharpness and autofocus. I think the most consistent of all three is S21 Fan Edition. But on darker situation, I think S23 FE is the best because of the Snapdragon variant that I have. It's actually processing the image better. This is the low-light video recording test, starting with selfie video recording in 4K 60 FPS. All three phones can shoot 60 FPS video recording. So on Samsung Galaxy S21 Fan Edition, we have 1/2.74 sensor. This is a 32 megapixel sensor, the largest amongst the three. We have 10 megapixel on S23 and S24 FE. This is 1/3, so smaller sensor than the competition. S21 FE has the largest sensors on all three. In terms of video quality, we got great contrast, stronger contrast on S21 FE. Also, the noise is stronger comparing it with S23 FE. This is the lightest color, a bit soft compared to the three. I think that's it for the selfie video recording. Now let's check the rear cameras. Now we're testing the rear camera, starting with the ultra-wide lens in 4K 30 FPS. We cannot switch to 60 FPS because all three phones can only activate the main sensor. So this is a 1/3 sensor on all three phones. Same sensor, 12 megapixel. But in terms of recording the video, we have the noisiest and I think the darkest on Galaxy S21 Fan Edition. Galaxy S23 is just okay, but it's a little bit darker than the latest S24 Fan Edition, and of course the latest will probably perform better than all three. In terms of field of view, we have the widest on S21 Fan Edition with 0.5 and then 0.6 on S23 and S24s. Now we're checking the main sensor. So again, difference on sensors. We have 12 megapixel 1/1.76 on S21 FE. This is an older sensor. Then we have a 50 megapixel sensor on S23 and S24 FE. This is 1/1.57 or 1.56. I can't remember. In terms of video quality, S21 FE is the least. We have S23 Fan Edition, as good as S24 Fan Edition, but it's a little bit greenish compared to the latest version. And I guess in terms of best quality video recording, we got the Samsung Galaxy S24 Fan Edition. And lastly, we got the 3x optical zoom on all three phones. This is an 8 megapixel sensor. I think same sensor on all three phones. So we got noisier Samsung Galaxy S21 FE and S23 FE, but smoother S24 Fan Edition. Again, still greenish on S23 Fan Edition. I think that's it for our low light video recording test. Now let's check the video resolution. In terms of video resolution, this is S21 FE. We have UHD 60 FPS using the rear camera. And this is Samsung Galaxy S23 Fan Edition. We have proper 8K video recording but only 24 FPS cinematic frame rate. And this is the latest S24 Fan Edition, 8K 30 FPS video recording like the S25 series. I think that's it for our camera comparison video between these three phones. Is it worth it to upgrade to the latest S24 Fan Edition? Leave your comment down below, and as always, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.